In our previous video, we began studying the water hammer, phenomenon which occurs in closed pipes during transient conditions. As we saw, it can happen during the closure of a valve, when the closure time is too small, and in pumped lines, when a power failure occurs. We saw that when the water flows in an installation like this, if the valve is closed instantaneously, this transient pressure or transient heads will occur. Let's study this phenomenon step by step. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Marcos. I am a retired professor of hydraulics. Now, I'm a consultant engineer of many companies that deal with hydraulics applied to sanitation works. Okay, this is the initial condition. Here we can see the water flowing in steady flow. But suddenly the valve is closed. Let's assume that it's an instantaneous closure. Now we'll have a transient condition. It's a condition like this one. A line of people is passing through a door and suddenly the door is closed. The first fellow bumps against the door, and the second, the third, and the other fellows will bump against whoever is in front of them. And so it will keep happening to the other fellows until the end of the line. Can you see a wave of bumps happening, which started at the door and it's moving up until the end of the line? It's exactly what will happen to the water. It compresses itself and stretches the pipe near the valve. And this phenomenon will travel from the valve to the reservoir as a wave. We know its intensity, given by the Joukowsky equation. We also know the velocity of the wavefront, or celerity. If you don't remember how to calculate those values, I'll leave their links in the description. From this situation, it will go to this new one. The wavefront moved a little. The water velocity behind it is 0, and it's still the same in front of it. And here it is again. And now the wavefront is getting close to the reservoir, and it hits the reservoir. Let's see what happens then. We can observe that there is an instability here. The water head inside the pipe is H0 plus delta H, while it's only H0 outside. This is an unstable condition. So the water will flow from the greater head region to the lower head region. As a consequence, its head will be H0 again. Notice that the water velocity will be the same as it was in steady flow, but in opposite direction. And here we go again. It's another wave, restoring the head along the pipe from the reservoir to the valve. The water velocity behind it is U0, and it's still 0 in front of it. And so it keeps going. And now the wavefront is getting close to the valve, and it hits the valve. Let's see what happens then. We can observe that there is an instability here. The water velocity inside the pipe is U0, while it's only 0 in the valve. Again, we have an unstable condition. But the water will try to keep flowing upstream. As a consequence, there will be a pressure drop near the valve. It happens as if you had a syringe and you pull its plunger, but its needle was clogged. The pressure drops, doesn't it? So, coming back to our drawing, a new wavefront will form. Water velocity will be 0 and the pressure will be minus A U0 over G behind it, and nothing has changed at the front of it. And so it keeps moving from downstream to upstream, and now the wavefront is getting close to the reservoir, and it's almost there, and it hits the reservoir. And when it hits the reservoir, we know what's gonna happen. The reservoir won't let the pressure remain lower inside the pipe, so it will release water inside the pipe. Notice that a new wavefront will happen, moving from the reservoir to the valve. The head will be H0 and the water velocity will be U0 behind it, which is just the same condition as in the steady state flow, and the head is still reduced and the water velocity is still zero in front of it. And so the wavefront keeps moving from the reservoir to the valve and keeps on going, and it's getting close to the valve and it hits the valve. Well, we've seen this before. In fact, we're back to square one. Everything is gonna happen again. Notice that if the closure is instantaneous, the same change will occur along all the extension of the pipe, up and down. It won't happen this way if we close it slowly, but that's what we'll see in our next video. That's enough for today. See you there! Oh, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, share and subscribe. Hit the bell so you can be notified of my next videos.